Hey everyone, welcome back to Celeb Fame Gossip. You're going to want to stick around because today's story is explosive. Basketball Wives star Royce Reed has finally dropped the gloves and exposed NBA player Dwight Howard, revealing some jaw-dropping and deeply disturbing details. Trust me, you don't want to miss this tea. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Royce started spilling all this dirt shortly after Dwight announced his engagement to rapper Amy Luciani. And I have to say, the timing had me side-eyeing hard. Like, why now, Royce? But apparently, she's been forced to keep quiet for years, and now she's ready to speak her truth. And honestly, Amy better sit up and pay attention because some of these revelations, highly disturbing. Royce took us back to where it all began, 2004, at a movie theater where she first met Dwight. Their relationship blossomed from there. Oh, and fun fact. Royce was a dancer for the Orlando Magic, Dwight's team at the time, but here's the kicker. She found out he was cheating on her. Shocking, right? Said no one ever, and that's just the beginning, folks. Things are about to get even messier.
I audition for the team, I make it, yay me. And after a couple weeks, there's a couple girls that are just treating me weird, and I didn't know why. Well, I ended up finding out that he had cheated on me with one of my teammates who used to live in Texas, but now was coming to the Heat, and he had been trying to get both of us to not say anything.
Royce later revealed that she broke up with Dwight, but he begged her to take him back, and she eventually did. Shortly after, she found out she was pregnant, a situation she wasn't thrilled about, fearing it might impact her career. Despite her reservations, she chose to keep their son. However, Dwight was far from supportive and made her pregnancy incredibly difficult.
And so now it's time to tell Superman that he is having a baby. And as you can imagine, that message was not received well. And I was met with a bunch of, oh, you're tarnishing my image, you're ruining my career. I'm a Christian, what I look like having a baby, and I'm trying to put the cross on the NBA logo. How could you do this to me? You're a gold digger. Oh yeah, I was hit with everything, y'all. Like I didn't have a career. But because none of those changed my mind, he then hits me with, and I have a girlfriend. Okay, I've always had a girlfriend. Oh, wow. Okay, so now I'm realizing, y'all, that not only is this person a completely different person than I thought he was, but I've realized that he is a master manipulator, and he will do any and everything to get exactly what he wants. I didn't fall for it, and because I didn't fall for it, I was then met with hell on earth. When I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant, I was asked to attend a meeting at a restaurant right around the corner from my townhome. And in this meeting is his manager, his cousin, himself. I am then offered money. I'm asking what the money is for. I'm thinking that maybe it's to help me with my pregnancy. No. I was asked to move away and say that this baby was not his. Twice. I declined. They got angry. And every time I did anything, I was met with false accusations. I was threatened, but I still was getting threatened. I was still receiving anonymous messages on MySpace and Twitter, and I didn't know what to do.
After giving birth to their son, Royce shared that he would occasionally spend time with Dwight. However, she claimed that Dwight and his girlfriend at the time were intentionally not feeding him proper food, causing him to fall sick every time he returned home to her.
The reason my child was returned super colicky, sick, throwing up, all these things, only to then be told it was because they were purposely giving him food that was opposite of what he was eating. I would pack a bag and I would have it listed of what he should be eating for lunch, for dinner, all these things. And he was intentionally given the opposite. So when he would be returned home, he was sick, colicky, throwing up, having to go to the hospital. When I confronted the situation, I was told that that was a lie and that it was only done because they thought I was trying to micromanage, and they decided that they were just going to give him whatever they wanted to give him.
That's already pretty wild, but it gets even more shocking. In 2009, Royce decided to get back together with Dwight after he ended things with his girlfriend. Dwight reportedly wanted her back as soon as he discovered she was seeing someone else. Hoping to keep their family together, Royce agreed to reconcile, which is understandable, but it turned out to be a huge mistake, as he ended up putting her through the ringer all over again.
I was forced to do things sexually that I did not necessarily agree with, but because I wasn't that experienced, I thought it was normal. And I never complained about it. That's when things started turning verbally and physically and also mentally abusive. I was told that I was stupid. I was told that nobody would ever want me. I was told that everybody here loved him and hated me. And how does it feel to have my hometown turn on me? I better not ever leave him. If I left him ever, he would make my life a living hell. And he did. There were days that I would be at his home and I was threatened with a knife, and then it was laughed off. But when the knife was in my face, it was, I could kill you right now and get away with it because I could claim self-defense and they would believe me and not you, because who are you?
Royce also shared details about other instances where Dwight was physically aggressive toward her.
He grabs my hair and he forces me to the floor. And he's like, who the are you talking to? He throws me into the entertainment center. When he threw me into the entertainment center, it broke the door. So I was flung into the one on the right. And our son, who was grabbing him and like thinking he was playing, he then flung him into the other door. I do not think that was intentional. I don't think he knew his own strength, but that's what he did.
Hearing this, it's clear Dwight's behavior was outrageous. Royce revealed that she wanted to leave him after he forced her into an intimate relationship against her will.
The day that I really wanted to leave was a day where I did not want to have relations with him. And he then forced me to give him fellatio.
The most disturbing part of this story revolves around what allegedly happened to Royce and Dwight's son. Royce claims that Dwight had a nanny who was suspicious and untrustworthy, and she suspected that the nanny harmed their son when he was very young. Later, it was revealed that this nanny had been involved in harming children. According to Royce, Dwight covered it up by paying the nanny off instead of reporting her to the police. This is heartbreaking because the nanny's actions should have been brought to justice. Royce also alleged that Dwight and his family have a history of covering things up, often using religion to justify sweeping issues under the rug, a practice she pointed out as being far from biblical. Royce believes Dwight may have been hiding more than just the nanny's misconduct. It's possible he was protecting his image, avoiding losing custody, or concealing deeper issues within his household. In the aftermath, Royce faced backlash regarding her parenting. She was even arrested for child neglect after her son was involved in an inappropriate incident with another child. However, Royce argued that the behavior stemmed from things her son had been exposed to while under Dwight's care, including the chaotic environment in his home. She claimed Dwight hosted drug-filled parties, some of which their son was present for, and that she herself witnessed one of these wild parties. Royce shared that she briefly reconciled with Dwight during the pandemic in 2020, following the tragic death of one of his children's mothers, Melissa Rios. During this vulnerable time, Dwight invited Royce and their son to stay at his house. While there, Royce alleged she saw firsthand the kind of behavior and parties Dwight hosted, including one where she claimed he acted a fool at a notorious Diddy party.
He knows that the real shit about him is coming out. Ask him about Ray Edwards and their parties. Ask him about the red dress that he wore during a Diddy party. I know too much, and the reason I'm talking now is because if something fucking happens to me, y'all know why. This is a person who has had me followed before. And I don't know if I'm gonna get through 2025. I'm not going to take myself out, but somebody else might. And I mean that. As dramatic as it may seem, I mean that. There's a lot of shit that has gone on. I can even name the name Zachary Timms. There's a lot of shit that goes on that's hidden.
I have to say, while I don't want Royce speaking negativity over her own life, I do understand her fear and why she feels the need to speak out now. It's also intriguing that she mentioned the name Zachary Timms, a pastor who passed away from a drug overdose. It makes me wonder about Dwight's connection to him and why she brought it up. That detail certainly raises questions. Even though all of this is alleged, it does make you think. Dwight has been involved in some troubling situations. For example, I remember when he was sued by a man named Stephen Harper, or Stephen. Stephen alleged that Dwight invited him over for a private encounter, but things took a disturbing turn when another man, dressed as a woman in a wig and kitten heels, was brought into the room. Stephen claimed he was blindsided and pressured into participating, leaving him traumatized and too intimidated to speak out at the time. Another individual, Mason, also accused Dwight of preying on him at freak-off parties. According to Mason, Dwight tried to intimidate him into signing an NDA, a tactic Dwight allegedly used on Royce as well. The NDA Royce signed has since expired, which is why she's now coming forward. While some suggest she's speaking out because Dwight is newly engaged, Royce insists it's about long-standing issues and things happening behind the scenes that she's tired of keeping quiet about. And wow, did she reveal a lot? It seems like she's ready to expose everything, and the details she's shared are certainly jaw-dropping.
I did start paying attention to certain things. I did start paying attention to certain traits. I did start paying attention to what he was telling me versus what was being done. So his sister and him coming on my live yesterday and commenting, and I'm so happy I didn't see it because I was just so into speaking. I'm so happy I didn't see it because had I probably would have said a lot more, such as their older brother molesting them, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there. And y'all might be like, oh my God, did she just say that? Yes, the fuck I said it, because the same thing happened to my son for 5 years and nobody did shit. Okay? So when you're dealing with a family who has had sexual assault and molestation in their family and they hid it, they went to church. Heal my son. Okay? And it was a half brother, so it wasn't the mother's son, it was the father's older son. The only time that brother went to jail was when he molested his own daughter. And she told. So for 5.5 fucking years, my child was molested. And I knew it. I threatened the nanny. Well, let me not say threatened because like I said before, I promised her if I found out that she was doing something to my child, we're gonna have a problem. When I found that out, what happened? I get ghosted, y'all. I now know nothing about what is going on in that house, and that's where I ended video 3. My child continued to come home. As he got older, he started stating certain things. Mind you, I am now in court because I'm refusing to let my child go over to his father's house. Wouldn't you as a mother, if you know that your child is being touched? After I made that threat, I was told very little about what was going on in the house. When I would call to check on my child, nobody would answer. My child is still being dropped off at home. And as I'm giving him baths, he's playing with himself. But in a way that's not like normal because I asked the doctor about it and I'm like, is it normal for them to do this, do that? And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, you need to start writing things down in a journal. Do I need to go get my journal? We now go to court because I'm denying visitation. We go to court and I got all this proof. I got stacks of paper and I can't really say too much because why? He got our case sealed. So in court, when I make the comment about my child is being molested, how dare you say that? This is Judge Timothy Shea. I will say his fucking name. Judge Timothy Shea. Okay? This man told me, how dare you make that accusation about Mr. Howard? How dare you do this? And if I ever hear you say anything like this again, I'm going to just change custody. I'm going to give custody to Mr. Howard 100%. What? It's in the docket that I got my ass up and I cussed him out and I said, F you. I turned and I said to his attorney, which was Man Downs, and I said, F you. And I started walking out the courtroom. I swore that was the day that I would get my first mugshot. I did. Because at this point, this is about my child. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all gotta say. Y'all can sit here and call me a bitter baby mama. You know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I am, because of what my child went through, and people sat there and just let him run with this narrative, and y'all believed it. This man is evil. This man put his hands on me. This man threatened me with a knife. This man literally said he could kill me right now. And nobody would say anything, because he could claim self-defense. And because everybody loves him and hates me, he get away with it. These are the type of people that y'all are defending. How quick we forget about what just happened. And just because, it came out that the case was dropped because he admitted it was consensual, what the do you think my child has been seeing? And being told that it was okay. We're not going to sit here and now make it seem like I'm a horrible mom and like I didn't raise him right when we grew up talking about the No No Square song. Let's also talk about my child going to Georgia for a month and them getting him kicked out of homeschool because they refused to let him do his work. They sent him to church, was trying to have like a priest tell him to say none of this happened to him. Literally was trying to get in his head and say, your mama made this up. Let's talk about how even when the nanny was fired and why she was fired. She was fired because she touched another child. Do we know where that nanny is? He does. Will he tell anybody? No. She's never said shit. Nobody knows where the fuck she is. Why? Because in my opinion, I believe that she was paid to leave. Just like I was offered, along with some of the other mothers were offered money to say that our child was not his. So even though there's 5, is there 5? All these years I have missed out on any type of career that I've tried to have. Not because I wasn't trying to have a career, but because I couldn't get a job, because every single time I would get something, all of a sudden it would be taken from me because of him and his PR people. Are y'all sure y'all want to work with her? She's really dramatic. As many times as I tried to move on, he would contact whoever I was dating. If I need to get Dwayne to release a statement about what he went through and the threats that he received when he was with me, I could do that. Because he was threatened that if he was with me, that bad things would happen. When I moved on, when I was dating Brian, y'all remember him from the show. Brian was there when a lot of shit was happening as well. Brian and I are still cool. Desmond was really there when a lot of shit was happening because Desmond was gonna be the one, right? You know what he did? He started contacting all these different associates of his. Desmond was playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he got traded. I'm trying to tell y'all that people who are in these higher positions, they will throw the rock and hide their hand. So again, like I said, I had to stop myself because I got to keep telling my story and I got to tell it in order because I know there's a lot of questions. But when I tell y'all today, there's going to be a PR stunt. And maybe not anymore because I'm saying something, but there's going to be videos of a birthday party of a daughter he hardly ever sees. And the other one that was forced to go back. Huge birthday party. But you want to know who has never gotten a birthday present? Our son. You want to know who has only gotten a Christmas gift 3 times out of 17 years? Our son. Why? Because I didn't coddle. Because I didn't do the bending. Because I didn't do a lot of things that he was asking me to do. because I knew it was wrong. This has nothing to do about the new person he's with. This has everything to do with me and my child and what he is still doing behind the scenes. He's still making phone calls. He still has blogs like The Shade Room under his wing. Okay? They only post negative things about me, if you've noticed, or the captions are always very like one-sided. This is the last thing that I can possibly do to get him to leave me the f alone. Leave us alone. You don't pay a dime in child support. Leave us alone. Stop calling our son and trying to get him to feel like he's such a terrible ass person because he don't want to have shit to do with you. I have been blackballed from a lot of the mainstream industry because of this person. And y'all want me to shut up? Y'all want me to be quiet? I have been suicidal. I have been in positions where I just wanted to get up and just leave. And then I look at that face in there, and even though he's 17, I still see myself. And I still see innocence. I still see regret. I still see misunderstanding. I see healing as well. This is something that now he has to deal with for the rest of his fucking life because people want to get on this internet and call him all types of names for a mistake that he made after a conversation his father had with him. When your own father calls you gay at 11 years old because you haven't touched anything or done anything, that's crazy. When your father is sitting here telling you, well, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman because a man's, G-spot is in his ass. Why are you telling a freaking 12-year-old this? This is a conversation that was had during quarantine. He was having this conversation with our son, along with two of his friends, and they were talking about heterosexual relationships, homosexual relationships, threesomes, where their G-spot was. And this is a bunch of dudes, y'all, talking to a 12-year-old. So, before I put out part 4, this is why I'm doing it. Because I'm terrified of this person, and I know he has blogs under his wing, on payroll, to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy and like we're just out for his money or that we're jealous. No, we're not. I don't know when my last day is. I don't know if I'm gonna be run off the road. I don't know if somebody gonna knock at my door and like arrest me for whatever reason. I don't know. But this is my story. This is how I escaped. I'm scared. And I'm lost. I have nothing else that he can take from me besides my life.
This story's just too much, y'all. Absolutely overwhelming. I'm honestly at a loss for words. Even though all of this is alleged, I don't think Royce is making this up, unfortunately. It's just such a messy situation. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you found it worth sharing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!